I'm Adam Waid. I get the privilege of leading the team here at Voxie. We are an Atlanta-based AI SMS platform that helps consumer service brands and national QSR, quick service restaurants, create more meaningful conversations with their customers and drive revenue through AI SMS. And not just use SMS for a 10% off coupon, which we all get. There's two things that each of us in this room, I know that we all want. We want to reduce operational cost, and we want to drive revenue up. And that, through our mission, is what we're able to help our brands do. And in just a second, we're going to show you a powerful part of our platform, and that we call the AI Concierge. And with this, our brands are able to drive revenue, drive down support tickets and call volume, create appointments, and just create more meaningful conversations without having to increase any additional staff on their team. And at the end of this, we're going to give each of you the ability to demo this live on your own phone instead of showing you an actual demo up here. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Tim Hitcher, our Director of Solutions Engineering.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Tim.
Every business wants to realize all these amazing benefits from AI, right? But what we've found is the types of customers that we work with, especially in the quick service restaurant space and consumer services, they actually struggle to adopt AI in a meaningful manner, in a way that they can interact with their customers more efficiently and provide them with more positive experiences. So I'm going to talk through an example of how we used our AI Concierge to solve some customer challenges as recently as this year. This is a customer who is a daycare service provider. They have hundreds of locations throughout the United States. And as a provider of daycare services, one of their primary business objectives is to drive enrollment. They want to sign up as many children and grow their wait list for their centers. Now, the challenge that they face is the outreach and engagement step. So if you aren't familiar with looking up and enrolling your child in daycare, it's not as simple as just going online, finding a couple centers in your area, and then boom, you're signed up. You need to reach out to that center. You've got all sorts of questions. You're sending your child there for 8+ hours a day. So you want to know how the instructors are credentialed, what the teacher-student ratios are, what types of meals they serve, how much they charge, right? All of these questions today are answered by staff on site. And it's the same staff who's responsible for changing diapers and answering other questions. They are tasked with all sorts of responsibilities. So for a business like this, with 400 locations, they have about 2 million questions from their potential customers that they need to answer before they're even interested in coming on site for a tour and eventually enrolling their child in daycare there. So the challenge that we're helping solve here, and actually I want to add first, about half of this business's locations already use SMS. They already text on the Voxie platform. And when they text with their leads, although they're doing it manually, all of their daycare centers that text perform much more strongly. They have higher enrollment rates, their wait lists are larger. So the business came to us with this issue. We need to answer these 2 million questions, but we want to do it in a way where all of our locations can text, and we're not adding any additional manual burden to our staff who's already got so many responsibilities on their plate. And so that's where our AI Concierge was implemented. I'm going to take a quick aside here and talk about 2 ways that we implement our AI Concierge. The first is our Sales Concierge, and this is a sales assistant, if you will. It'll engage your leads, answer their questions, and drive towards a conversion, whether that be booking a tour, making a sale, making a purchase. And then we have our Support Concierge, which we use to help businesses automate customer inquiries on their text line. So for this business, what we saw within just the first few weeks is, number one, their response time to inbound inquiries from leads dramatically improved. And that's because the Sales Concierge is always on. It can always answer questions. It's not in the middle of working with children in the daycare, and staff didn't have to step away, take out their phone, and answer a question real quick. The second is that leads that the Sales Concierge engaged were more likely to book a tour. So that helps them towards their goal of increasing enrollments. And a great side effect of all this is that the staff who traditionally was involved with answering all of these questions, pulling out their phone, stepping away to answer questions so they can continue to drive business growth, they can just focus on the children in the daycare and do more of what the humans want to do and interact with others. So all of this is driven by AI that talks like an employee. So I'm going to bring you through a conversation here. We'll see a bunch of chat bubbles. I'm not sure if you'll be able to read them all. I'll just draw your attention to a couple of areas. This is a real conversation that happened in the past few weeks. Some details have been anonymized here, but it's a conversation that happened between our sales concierge and a lead. And you'll see from beginning to end, there's about just 5 questions back and forth. The sales concierge initiated the conversation, and what it resulted in, it's probably a little hard to see, is this parent booked a tour for the very next day. Now, I want to draw your attention to the first message. It starts with a nice warm intro. It says, "Hi, Tom. This is Emily from ABC Daycare," and Emily is the name of our sales concierge. "I saw you're interested in enrolling your little one, Maya, at our location." One of the critical components that the business brought to us is they wanted to make sure that their sales concierge talked like or texted like their employees are trained to talk to families. They use a warm tone. They use the children's name whenever possible. And they use terminology like your little one or your little learner. And you can see, of course, the first question that lead asked was, "Can you tell me about pricing? How much does it cost?" Right? Everyone wants to know that. The response there incorporated a couple things that I want to call out here. First, that brand voice continues to shine through. And then it talks about how Maya, the child, would be enrolled in the toddler program. So through our integrations with the customer's CRM, we can also give it the context to provide more accurate answers. Then it goes on, like any good salesperson, after talking about how much this costs, to talk about all the benefits that Maya would enjoy by being enrolled in the toddler group. So this is just one example of one conversation that happened a few weeks ago. But when this happens tens of hundreds and thousands of times, this is saving staff a lot of material time and enabling staff just to go in and review the conversation that the sales concierge had before that parent shows up for a tour, so that they can focus on what they do best, which is selling them on the daycare. I'll quickly wrap up and talk about how this ties back to Voxie's mission. We purpose-built this solution to help brands reimagine what customer engagement can look like. We think it's too difficult for many brands to use AI in a manner that actually can augment and improve their day-to-day interactions with their customers. And this is helping solve that. Through that, it's also helping them, of course, drive revenue and reduce their operational costs through all the efficiencies gained there. So I just want to leave you with a final question, which is, what types of customer experiences do you, or if you work with customers, what type of experiences should they automate? And maybe Voxie could help. I'll pause for questions, and if you want to scan this QR code, it'll populate a text on your phone, and that'll let you get into an experience with our sales concierge. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll grab the too.